Harmonious Imports, bringing musical instruments for school bands into the USA. Importing musical instruments and accessories for school bands into the USA involves adherence to specific customs regulations and procedures to ensure compliance with U.S. Customs and Border Protection (CBP) requirements. Harmonized Tariff Schedule (HTS) classification. Importers must classify musical instruments and accessories under the appropriate Harmonized Tariff Schedule (HTS) codes to determine applicable duties, taxes, and fees for customs clearance. Documentation requirements. Importers should prepare accurate and complete documentation for customs clearance, including commercial invoices, packing lists, certificates of origin, and import permits, as required by CBP regulations. Compliance with CBP regulations. Importers must comply with CBP regulations governing the importation of musical instruments and accessories, including restrictions on certain materials, labeling requirements, and import quotas. Wood and ivory regulations. Importers should be aware of regulations regarding the importation of musical instruments containing wood or ivory components, such as compliance with the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora (CITES). Duty exemptions. Certain musical instruments and accessories may qualify for duty exemptions or preferential treatment under trade agreements, such as the Generalized System of Preferences (GSP), or Free Trade Agreements (FTAs), reducing the overall cost of importation. Value-added tax (VAT). Importers should consider the implications of value-added tax (VAT), or goods and services tax (GST), on the importation of musical instruments and accessories, as applicable based on the destination country's tax regulations. Importer security filing (ISF). Importers are required to submit an importer security filing (ISF) to CBP prior to the arrival of the goods in the USA, providing advance information about the shipment for security purposes. Customs bond. Importers may need to obtain a customs bond to guarantee payment of duties, taxes, and fees to CBP and ensure compliance with customs regulations for the importation of musical instruments and accessories. Advance planning and preparation. Importers should plan ahead for the importation of musical instruments, considering factors such as lead times, transportation logistics, and customs clearance procedures to facilitate smooth importation. Collaboration with customs brokers. Importers can enlist the services of a licensed customs broker to navigate customs regulations, facilitate documentation, and ensure compliance with CBP requirements for importing musical instruments and accessories. Supplier communication. Importers should maintain open communication with suppliers to obtain accurate product information, resolve any potential issues, and ensure timely delivery of musical instruments and accessories for school bands. Quality control. Importers should implement quality control measures to verify the authenticity and condition of musical instruments and accessories upon receipt, ensuring compliance with product specifications and customer expectations. Record keeping. Importers must maintain accurate records of import transactions, including documentation related to the importation of musical instruments and accessories, for audit trail purposes and compliance with CBP regulations. Compliance audits. Importers should conduct internal compliance audits to assess adherence to customs regulations, identify areas for improvement, and mitigate risks of non-compliance or penalties from CBP. Continuous improvement. Importers should continuously monitor changes in customs regulations, import requirements, and trade policies, adjusting their importation processes and procedures as necessary to maintain compliance and optimize efficiency. Training and education. Importers and customs brokers can benefit from training and education programs on customs regulations, import procedures, and compliance best practices offered by industry associations, trade organizations, and government agencies. Government outreach and guidance. CBP provides outreach and guidance to importers on customs regulations, import requirements, and compliance procedures, supporting importers in their efforts to facilitate lawful trade and ensure regulatory adherence. Industry collaboration – importers can collaborate with industry peers, trade associations, and educational institutions to share best practices, address common challenges, and advocate for regulatory reforms to support the importation of musical instruments for school bands. Importing musical instruments and accessories for school bands into the USA requires careful adherence to customs regulations, documentation requirements, and compliance procedures. By understanding these intricacies and implementing best practices, importers can facilitate the lawful importation of musical instruments and accessories for educational use, enriching the learning experiences of students participating in school bands. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more informative videos on customs importation and international trade practices.